Hi, I'm Jonathan Coe of the Easton Historical Society, here today for an open house. And we're here to really celebrate the early and the original start of Little League, the Charter Little League from Williamsport, Pennsylvania in 1952. And we have a great collection, I feel, for a lot of donations, pictures from 1952, the inaugural game they had at Frothingham Park. And there were four original teams in Little League. They were the Fernandez supermarkets. Joe Fernandez was the owner, so he had a team. There was the Easton Lions. They called them the Lions, of course. The Pioneers, and that was, the sponsor was Russ Murray. It was Russ Murray's Pioneers. The last one is the Huskies. The Easton Huskies had a Little League team. And so they started in 1952, and Little League started actually on Memorial Day. They did that for a few years. I think today they probably start in the cold weather of early April, but Memorial Day. So we have some great pictures of the parade right down the track at Frothingham Park. And they had the teams lining up on the base pass, the four original teams. And we've actually got a lot of some great articles from the Easton Bulletin and the Brockton Enterprise, but mostly the Bulletin. Got some fabulous articles here about all the players and the championship and the banquet thereafter, which was really cool. So we have 52, and we have actually a schedule, believe it or not, from 1953. And the nice thing about these schedules back in the day, they actually show the teams, the players, and how old they are and what teams they were on. So I think that's really important. Back in the day, you could have somebody 8 years old on a major Little League team. So they were 8 to 12, and then it was 9 to 12, and then it became 10 to 12. Anybody under 10 would be eligible to play in the minor leagues. I think that's the way it is today. So this, we're going to talk a little bit about this today. We've got a lot of people coming in, a lot of the original players coming in. But the Little League was really a franchise, and you could see the logo. Here's a nice T-shirt that was donated by Gil Haino's son, Peter Haino. And this is what they would wear in the minor leagues, which came to life in about 1953, 54. And that's the shirt, and they'd have a hat. And I remember I played for Matrano Chevrolet in the minor leagues, and then on to Howard Insurance. That was when it expanded about in 1957. You had the Howard Insurance, and Easton Pharmacy came into the original four to make it the first six. So we've got some nice hats donated. Here's a nice hat from Paul Calarese, classmate of mine. He was on the Huskies, of course. And there's the little emblem with a keystone on it from Pennsylvania. Carl Stotz was the founder of Little League in 1939. He thought of it in 1938 when he was playing. He didn't have any sons, but he was playing baseball with his two daughters, and he was out in the field, and he tripped over, went out for a ball, and he tripped over some bushes, and he hurt himself, and he sat down and on his porch, and he said to his daughters, he said, how would you like to have your own hat, your own uniform, and have an organized league? And well, let's do this next year. So he started it down in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. That's where the Little League World Series has been for a number of years. So that's how it originated. Carl Stotz from Williamsport and the Stotz family. And there was two brothers that was part of the organization as well. So we go up from 52 to 53. We've got a number of teams in Little League. Little League, probably the charter, ended in Easton about 1979. And for whatever reason, whether it was a costly thing, because you had to pay some real dues to the Little League, and Easton became Easton Youth League Baseball. We had some great teams, and they moved progressively from Frothingham Park up to the Plains, where there was one big field in the 50s, And as soon as it was 1979, 80, 81, they started developing some really, really good fields up there. And the complex, as you see it today, became just one of the best complexes you would ever see around here. We get a lot of compliments from outside towns and the people that come in. They love the place. They say, can't believe it. It's a great, great complex. So I give all the folks up there some great, great kudos for doing an unbelievable job. So we've got some all-star teams, some photos, some hats. We've got actually trophies here as well. Part of Little League, the charter was minor league, but then there was Pony League. So after Little League, what do you do after Little League? Well, there was a Pony League that started 13 years old. 13 to, I think, 15, a couple of years. And Easton actually had, in the start, a couple teams. It was called, and I didn't realize this, Crowford Gear, down by the Morse Machine Company. Alfred Morse was the sponsor, and he was, I think, the coach. Crowford Gear, and there was the Knights of Columbus, had a minor league team. And after that, they had other town teams that developed into Babe Ruth, like it is today, and so on and so forth. So minor leagues, again, there's a lot of teams that were represented. I know Tanner Ford had a team. I think it was Kemp Auto Body. Here's a hat from the JCs. They did a lot of sponsorship in Easton with minor league right here. So a fabulous, fabulous showing of some great artifacts and trophies and hats. And I love that shirt. That is a great, great shirt. So we're going to have some music going today. We got refreshments, and I want to thank everybody, especially all those folks that started Little League back in '52. This is right after World War II, and it was right at Korean War was on at that time. I know the Hurley family, Joe Hurley Sr. was one of the, he was the president. He had a lot of Vincent Hurley. He was big into it. Henry Baxter, Put Santos. Got an awful lot of folks that are responsible for this and the great sponsors of the teams back then. And so many people have been involved in the Easton Little League and Youth League Baseball. It's fabulous. So we're just here to recognize the early start of all the folks there that started this whole thing and getting them back. And it's really about 81 years to the day that they really started having this ready to go for Memorial Day in 1952. So I'm Jonathan Coe. Thank you for listening, and come on down to the Easton Historical Society Museum. We're open Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays and weekends, and we have an open house every single month. So come on down. Thanks a lot.